You don't even live there.
I think of it as the sort of the West collectively.
But do you see why this makes people think that this man who has all this power, he's the world's richest man, he thinks he has a right to influence our politics? I mean, some people do loathe you.
Yes, some people do.
But do you understand why? Do you think what you're doing is helpful for Western democracy?
Maybe some people do loathe me. And that's probably true. I don't care. But the fact that, as you pointed out, 250 million people follow me is that I think a lot more people actually like me than don't. And I think a lot more people hate you and the media more than you realize.
So this Economist host who lives in the UK is trying her best to convince Elon Musk that his views as to what the rest of the world is seeing happening to the West, including UK in particular, is actually not happening. That there is no takeover from a different culture, a different religion, that there is no Islam, that everything is good, and that she lives there, and that you should take her advice. And I want to know if anybody from the UK is actually watching this. I would like to know whether you're on her side or Elon's side, and you'll know exactly why I'm saying that. Because in this interview, things go a little far right and a little far left, because Elon begins to tell her directly to her face that she is covering up exactly what is going on, and she is everything that's wrong with women in the West, specifically white progressive women like her, white liberal women, however you want to see it. But anyways, let's actually jump into this interview. It gets pretty crazy. Take a listen.
You support not just the populist right, but the far right. In fact, very fringe parties in some countries.
No, I support the normal people.
Okay.
What do you call the far right? Falsely.
You think is the normal person. Okay.
Yes. Literally, you could go back 10 or 15 years, and these policies were completely normal. In fact, one of the tricks that I think is funny. One thing that's quite funny is to like take a speech from Obama and Hillary, and then go to someone and say, who's sort of on the sort of what I call the lunatic left, and say, what do you think of the speech by Trump? I'm like, oh wow, he's the worst person ever. Actually, that was a speech by Obama, or actually, that was a speech by Hillary.
I agree. No, I agree that the center of gravity in this country has shifted. Certainly, the Democratic Party shifted to the left, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people like Rupert Lowe. I'm talking
right,
about
please.
People.
It's actually just normal people. It's just normal people. It's just normal people. And
okay, I want to stop it right here. Anyone again that has been watching UK politics or Western politics as well in Europe, Rupert Lowe, is he not normal? Rupert Lowe is too extreme far right? Let me know down in the comments, because she is trying to convince him. And she is trying to say that that Elon doesn't support people on the right. He supports people on the extreme far right. But how did England become England today? What's happening there today? She doesn't even want to take responsibility for it. But let's keep going, because here comes Elon Musk.
And here are the principles. And tell me which of these sound terrible. That we should have secure borders, that we should have safe cities, that we should have sensible spending. Which of those three are far right those fringe? No, and I would like to just admonish you and the media for the absurd characterization of the far right. It is false and misleading and nonsense. Please keep this part in.
We'll keep all of this in, but let me.
He called that out directly to her face. He pointed out exactly what it is that right-wingers believe in. What of that right-wingers believe in is far right.
Cut this part.
Let me push back on that. Because you have
nonsense.
Elon, you have, what is it, close to 250 million followers on X.
Yeah,
you say things like,
popular guy.
Quote, civil war in Britain is inevitable. Just a question of when.
On the current trends, yes.
I mean, when were you last in the UK?
A few years ago.
Exactly. So I live there. I'm there the whole time. That is nonsense.
You live a cloistered existence.
No, I don't actually. And the numbers also disprove what you say.
What numbers?
All the numbers about crime. London is a much safer city than any city in the United States. Violent crime in the UK is not where you think it is. In fact, it's coming down. You have painted, and because you have so many followers, so many Americans believe it, a kind of view that Europe and the UK are kind of, overrun with terrifying Muslim immigrants. There's rape on every corner. There's a sort of civilizational
I haven't
destruction.
said any of those things. If you have a large and rapidly growing group of people whose beliefs are antithetical to Western beliefs, at some point there will be a reckoning. That they will try to implement their views, and those who oppose it will oppose it, and that's what you call civil war. And obviously, this is the trend. And you absolutely do live in a cloistered existence. And if you'd like, we can go on a tour of Britain.
Sure.
And we
I'd
can go
be
on a
very
walking
happy
tour,
to come on a tour of Britain.
and you will see
You
for
come
yourself.
see my country that I live in all the time, and you haven't been to a few years
I've been
ago.
there literally.
Wow. So Elon Musk tells her directly to her face that she lives in a closeted existence. She's closeted in there. She doesn't really know what's going on because, hey, there's Tommy Robinson. There's a lot of people in the UK that had a march. You had Black Britons, Christian Britons get together and say, hey, things are going way too far to the left, not only to the left, but Islam and, in the UK, they're not assimilating. They are trying to take over. That is his argument here. And there's a lot of that happening in, of course, the United States of America, but a lot of Christians in the United States of America are also pushing back on that. Here's something that I do want to say is that he tells it directly to her face that she doesn't know what's going on, but she says that crime is going down, that the UK is actually safer than any city in the United States of America, and that crime is going down. She sounds exactly like the left sounds today, where they're trying to tell you to deny the existence of violence growing in the country. And I think that that's crazy because I grew up in the Bronx, New York. There's a lot of different people. Some of you guys are watching, grew up in certain areas that never got better, and that a lot of the crime just doesn't even get reported. There was a basketball player that got shot in Harlem. There was a young lady who got shot. There was a grandfather who got shot in Harlem. I'm just pointing out what happened in New York City, right? And the left says that crime is going down. So she's doing the same thing that they do here. She's doing it for the UK, which is why Elon Musk is saying, well, wait a minute. You have no idea what's going on, do you? But of course, this whole interview is about Islam. It's about Muslims. It's about the white liberal woman, if I could just be very honest with you, defending another religion that she's not even a part of because she hates right-wingers so much. Until I say she probably hates white people. It's like this thing that's going on. Now, again, I grew up around Muslims. I grew up around Islam. I rejected it, and I'm going to continue to reject it to this day. I reject anything, anyone that is not Jesus Christ is King. Jesus Christ is the Messiah. If you don't believe that, I believe your religion is wrong, and I'm going to have a hard time being led by you. I'm going to be very honest, and I think that there's a lot of people in the West that feel that way and that they go through it. But what he's trying to say is this can cause something bigger. Here is what she is trying to do. She's trying to ask him and get him to admit that he hates Muslims, when in reality, it's much deeper than that. Take a listen.
Anti-Muslim?
I'm against having if people are coming to a country with antithetical views. I am against that. I'm against that. I'm against. I'm against rape and murder. I'm against the imposition of rules and laws that are contrary to what we've come to accept in the West. And I think it's a crying shame that the sort of traditional media, like you, don't recognize this.
Why should you be able to shape European politics? You don't even live there.
I think of it as the sort of the West collectively.
But do you see why this makes people think that this man who has all this power, he's the world's richest man, he thinks he has a right to influence our politics? It makes people, it's why, we started this conversation saying superlatives. It's why people loathe you. I mean, some people do loathe you.
Yes, some people do.
But do you understand why? Do you think what you're doing
Well,
is helpful for Western democracy?
Maybe some people do loathe me. And that's probably true. I don't care. But the fact that, as you pointed out, 250 million people follow me is that I think a lot more people actually like me than don't. And I think a lot more people hate you and the media more than you realize.
Oh my God, he told it directly to her face. So, oh my, what an interview. Okay, whether you like Elon Musk or you don't, something that he is doing here is he is explaining to her, and she represents the media because she's working with The Economist, that he has a certain view of West and Western politics, and he is calling it out for how he sees it. And there's a lot of people that seem to agree with him because she's trying to convince him that he is most hated. He is way too powerful to have an opinion. But the mainstream media is the most opinionated because that's their job and they're the most powerful. And so how did Elon Musk come about? Did he come about because everyone agrees that the media is doing a great job and he doesn't really need to report on news? Or did he come about because he feels, like a lot of people feel that follow him, that the media has done a bad job, that the media is hiding crime statistics, that they're hiding things that are happening, the clashings of cultures not being real? And so he has his opinion. A lot of people think he's wrong. And, you know, I can't tell you I trust Elon Musk personally. If you're asking for my opinion, AI and the takeover, and he's talking gibberish about not having to work and becoming a socialist, becoming more socialist over time with, of course, he said there's 5 years left to get rich or everything's going to be as equal as possible because of AI. He says some things that I don't agree with, but he has a right to have his voice. He has a right to say what he wants. He has a right to try to get elected who he wants because the media machine is actually the biggest. They control the entire entity. They control it all. And she is trying to convince him that he shouldn't talk, that what he's saying is actually wrong. So he says, I'll take a tour with you. I'll go with you. Again, you don't have to agree with everything Elon Musk says. I'm sure there's a lot of people that do not agree with everything Elon Musk said, even in this interview. But the mainstream media, The Economist, CNN, ABC, whoever, a lot of people will rebuttal that. Oh, but they're owned by right-wingers, but they don't spew right-wing anything. If you look at ABC, CNN, CBS, if you look at these people that work there are all liberal. They're all, they're all a part of the socialist rising left. So as a Christian, where do you find yourself? As somebody who does not want to be bad to other people, that you don't want to make people feel like shit, because that's not what you do as a Christian. Where do you fall here politically? And I think that that's where a lot of people are. I think a lot of people on my channel, they don't want to intermix by calling people names or violating people or saying, but they also feel, hey, you must push back on Islam. You must push back on any other religion or any other belief that's not Christianity. You must push back. You must challenge it. You must debate it. But the West does this thing where you can't debate it. You can't debate it. You can't say you're racist if you think these people are wrong and their religion is wrong and their beliefs are wrong. And if you say that they're not assimilating, that you're wrong. But no, if you look at Philip Anthony Mitchell as a pastor, he calls out Islam. Bryce Crawford, he calls out Islam. But in the West, the media has made it to the point where you can't criticize anyone. And if you're white, you definitely, that's what it feels like to me. That's why you have these outbursts by people like Elon Musk. They're like, nah, man, F that. We ain't playing those games. That's what it feels like to me, because black people are going to say, hey, this. White people are going to say, hey, that. This is how we feel. And I love that about the United States of America. Every race is not going to agree on everything. Every culture is not going to agree on everything. But one thing that we can all agree on is that we are American. We are American, and we want America to keep on thriving. We recognize its history, good, bad, ugly, whatever, and the best parts of it. And we recognize capitalism. We recognize that, hey, this is the country to make it. There's a lot of people dying to come over here. But I just think that reporters like this woman are, they bother me, bro. Even if I don't agree with everything Elon Musk says or does, it just bothers me that she feels that you can't talk about certain things. and that she lives there, and that crime is going down. Crime ain't no crime happening. I guess so. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Do you agree with her? Do you agree with Elon Musk? See you guys in the comments.